My name is Hugo. When I was in high school, I lost both of my parents in a car accident, and since then, I've been managing to survive with my older brother and younger sister. My brother has been working ever since he graduated middle school, and even after our parents passed away, he's been the one supporting our family. Now, he's the boss of the Thunder Heights gang, and thanks to him, our lives are a bit more comfortable. My sister started working part-time as soon as she graduated middle school. And today, she's graduating from high school and heading off on her graduation trip. I had the day off, so I decided to see her off at the meeting point. Thanks, Hugo. I'm off. Have fun. I'll come pick you up when you're back. She had been excitedly looking forward to this trip like a little kid for days. But then, something totally unexpected happened. My sister came back home from her graduation trip in just 5 minutes. There she was, standing in the doorway, and I couldn't hide my shock. What happened? Hearing my loud voice, my brother came rushing over. What's with all the shouting? What's going on? Wait, Yvonne, weren't you supposed to leave for your graduation trip today? At that moment, she collapsed in tears, sitting down right there in the entranceway. On her suitcase, someone had scrawled in red marker, "Poor orphan, go home." Hey! What the hell is this? Too overwhelmed to speak, she just kept crying, her head hung low. I know it's hard, but can you tell us what happened? After a while, she began to calm down and explained what had happened. This isn't the first time. I think I became their target a while ago, maybe about 6 months back. They never liked me to begin with. I'm embarrassed to say it, but apparently, I was getting some attention from the younger students, and there were rumors about me. The leader of the group must have felt threatened. She's always been proud of her looks and status, so I guess she couldn't stand me. Just because you're a little pretty, you're getting all this attention and letting it go to your head? You're poor. So act like it and stay out of sight. It's outrageous for someone like you to stand out more than me. Get lost. What? What do you expect me to do? If you've got something to say, why don't you say it in front of everyone? I'm not full of myself. And I'm not trying to compete with you. You're so arrogant. No one ever stands up to me like you do. Do you want to regret it? Haven't you heard? My dad's in the gang. And not just any gang, he's pretty high-ranking, too. Do you understand what that means? He'll do anything I ask. If I want you gone, you'll disappear. Maybe even your family too. Is that supposed to scare me? I'm just living my life. It doesn't matter who your dad is, I'm not going to bow down to you. Yvonne said that and walked away. She won't be going on that graduation trip. Not a chance. I guess standing up to her like that was a mistake. After that, they kept at it, doing little things every day to bother me. That's been going on for months? Why didn't you tell us? I thought I could handle it. I had good friends, and I figured I'd just endure it until graduation. And today, they took it even further? This writing, too? Yeah, it was her. I knew something would happen, but I thought I could handle it. A few days ago, she even told me directly not to come on the trip. Still, I wasn't going to back down. Then you brought me to the meeting point, and as soon as I arrived, she confronted me. Who's that? Was that person even one of the participants? I thought we agreed she wouldn't come. There's no seat for you here. Too bad. Go call your overprotective brother to come get you. Go play with him at home. The one laughing and saying this was Michelle, the leader of the group bullying Yvonne. I never agreed to that. You're the one who decided that on your own. I said I was going, and I know there's room on the bus. So, I can go. Also, stop insulting my brother, he has nothing to do with this. You're so full of yourself. Why do you keep talking back to me? If you insist on going, pay me $1,000. That's the least you can do. Pay up. And maybe I'll consider letting you come. Maybe. I paid for the trip just like everyone else. I have every right to go. What? You, a poor girl, managed to pay? I thought you couldn't afford it in the first place. Your seat is being used for luggage now. So you might as well give up. Poor people don't have the right to participate. If I tell my dad, he can have you removed from the list in no time. Or are you planning to defy my dad? I told you he's in the gang, didn't I? He's a powerful man. It'd be so easy for him to make you disappear. He'll do anything I ask. So, how about it? Are you scared yet? You still want to go? You being here is just a nuisance for everyone else. Go home and get some sleep. Oh, and as a souvenir, let me autograph this filthy suitcase of yours. Being poor or not has nothing to do with this. And gang? That's irrelevant too. If I decide not to go, will you apologize to me properly? You've insulted my family and everything. If you don't like me so much, why don't you stay behind? That way, everyone else can enjoy the trip without any issues. What? Apologize to you? Not a chance. Why would I ever do that? Oh, wait, I don't have time for this nonsense. We've got a graduation trip to go on. After all. Too bad for you. But here, let me leave you a little memento. I'll sign something for you, so you should feel honored. With that, Michelle and her friends started scribbling all over her suitcase with red markers. And then, they somehow convinced the bus driver, and they left without me. Maybe I was wrong. Michelle's always bragging about her dad being in gang. So I believed her. And everyone else follows her because they're scared. Yvonne looked heartbroken as she finished explaining. That's outright bullying. I won't let her get away with this. Don't worry, I'll make things right. While we were fuming, my brother made a phone call. Are they talking about something right now? Yes, they're chatting and laughing. I'll put it on speaker. From the phone, we heard Michelle's voice mocking Yvonne, along with the laughter of her group. Do you remember her face when she realized she was left behind at the bus stop? That pathetic look. Honestly, I can't believe she even tried to come. What kind of nerve does she have? Poor little orphan. How did she think she could afford a trip like this? Should we keep messing with her whenever we're bored? This trip is off to such a great start. This was the conversation coming through the phone. Take care of those brats. With those words, my brother contacted the bus driver. At that moment, Yvonne and I still didn't understand how Michelle's voice was coming through the phone from someone my brother had called. My brother had made up his mind that he would ensure that those classmates who humiliated his beloved sister would face severe consequences. The bus driver, who was already working under my brother's orders, silently turned the bus around and headed back to the meeting point without informing the passengers. What? Haven't we already been here? Hey, driver. What are you doing? Do you even know where you're going? If you don't do your job properly, you won't get paid today, Michelle said with a laugh, prompting the rest of her classmates to burst into laughter as well. I'm driving you straight to hell. You're too clueless to even realize it. Hearing this, the bus driver chuckled darkly to himself. What? Did you just say something back? I couldn't hear you. No, nothing at all. I have plans, okay? If we're even a minute late, you won't get away with it. Unlike you, I actually have a busy schedule. Sure thing. What's with this driver? So arrogant. He's just like that other one. Ah, today's such an annoying day. Michelle continued to look down on the bus driver with her condescending attitude. Meanwhile, my brother was explaining his plan to me. Don't worry, Michelle is about to get what she deserves. I'll make sure she knows what happens when she messes with my sister. Who were you calling earlier? I heard you say something about taking care of someone. Is this work related? Actually, the bus driver is one of my subordinates. I couldn't help worrying about an overnight trip, so when I heard there'd be a driver, I asked one of my men to take the job. It just so happened that one of them had a license. I had him keep an eye on Yvonne for me. What? Really? I'm in high school, you know. But then, why did he leave me behind? Exactly. If he had let Yvonne on, she could have just gone with the group. Well, I could have let it slide, but I figured this was a good chance to scare them a bit. Yvonne, don't worry. I'll arrange another graduation trip for you later, but I needed to show them what happens when they mess with my sister. Which is why letting the bus leave without you was part of the plan. I noticed something was off with you a while back and figured something might be happening at school, so I quietly had someone keep an eye on things. And when I found out that kid Michelle was harassing you and heard she'd be on this trip, I knew she'd try to pull something, so I sent my guy in. And by now, they've probably already made it back to the meeting point. So, you noticed I wasn't myself. I thought I was doing a good job of hiding it. Wait, so I'm the only one who didn't notice anything? At that moment, the bus had returned to the meeting point. What? Are we really back here? Didn't you hear me earlier? Do you think you'll get away with this? If you value your life, you'll head straight to the destination right now. Why is everyone going against me today? Hey, driver. Are you even listening to me? At least respond. The driver ignored her completely and sent home the students who hadn't been involved in bullying Yvonne, offering them some plausible excuse. Hey! Why are you ignoring me and sending people home? Not that I care about them, but at least say something. Do you want to lose your job over this? Shut up. With that, he knocked Michelle and two of her accomplices unconscious, blindfolded them, and drove to a remote location. Hey! Wake up already. We've arrived at your destination. The fun starts now. What? It's dark. I can't see anything. Stop shouting. Take off the blindfolds and get off the bus. When they got off, they found themselves surrounded by large, intimidating men. What is the meaning of this? What are you planning to do? We're leaving. Do you have any idea what will happen if my dad finds out about this? Dragging us around like this. You think you'll get away with it? If you need someone to deal with, take these two instead and let me go. It'll be better for you in the long run. Michelle, consumed with rage, shouted furiously. The two classmates were visibly shocked by Michelle's remarks. Ignoring Michelle, the men guided them inside the house and into the living room. Sit here and wait. How long are you going to keep ignoring me? Enough is enough. Why did you bring me to this sketchy place? I'll never forgive you for this. At that moment, my brother, Yvonne, and I entered the room. What? Why is she here? What's going on? And this place, it feels like one of my dad's offices. Could this be a gang office too? No way. That can't be. There's no way this poor girl would have any connection to that. What are you doing here? Why are you in a place like this? What's the meaning of this? You've got quite the glare there. What's got you so scared? You've been mocking adults all day, haven't you? Shouldn't be a problem for someone like you. And didn't I say to deal with them? Why bring them here? Are you planning to finish the job in front of us? Finish the job? What are you talking about? I don't understand any of this. And why have you been silent this whole time? My arms are tied. Say something already. She's losing it. I thought about dumping her in a river along the way, but I figured we should let her face the truth first. And she needs to bow down and apologize to Yvonne. After that, we'll deal with her properly, maybe by dropping her into a deep canyon somewhere. Don't worry, I'll handle it. How about one last drive, huh? Talk to me. And untie me already. This is enough. I won't forgive any of you. If anyone's getting tossed into a canyon, it'll be you. You've done some terrible things to Yvonne, haven't you? And you laughed while mocking her too, didn't you? What? What are you talking about? Are you saying this girl said that? Michelle glared sharply at Yvonne as she spoke. Are you still going to pretend you don't know what this is about? I threw the suitcase at the ground in front of Michelle and her two accomplices. Ah! What are you doing? That's dangerous. We don't know anything. Right? We don't remember anything like this, do we? Hey, you two. Tell them it wasn't us. These guys have got the wrong idea, don't they? Come on, say something. Michelle exchanged glances with her two classmates, trying to deny everything. But the other two looked as if they were ready to confess and apologize immediately. Who else but you would do something like this? Yvonne spoke mercilessly. Normally, she was calm and gentle, but today was different. Wait. Are you saying you were being bullied? Is that why you didn't come on the trip today? We were all worried about you, you know. It's horrible that someone would do this. Oh, so you're going to play innocent? Do you think I don't know what's going on here? You really think you can get away with this? Even now, are you trying to lie your way out of responsibility? How pathetic. And don't forget, the driver saw everything, including you writing on that suitcase. I was foolish to think you might reflect on what you've done. Instead, you're trying to pin this on someone else? You're unbelievable. Unbelievable? Sure, I'll admit I've done some wrong, and I was going to apologize for that. But don't exaggerate this into something it's not. It was just a joke, wasn't it? Michelle looked at her two classmates, seeking their agreement. The two avoided her gaze, looking down in awkward silence. They don't seem to agree with you, do they? I bet they couldn't stand up to you. Of course, I can't forgive them either. But at least they're willing to admit their faults and apologize. It's clear just from watching. What do you know about these two? I've spent more time with them than you. I understand them better. I've spent years with them in school, too. But unlike you, I've seen how you've used them to your advantage. Only to sacrifice them in the end and try to save yourself. Did you think no one noticed? I saw everything. Used them? How dare you make it sound so bad? I never meant it like that. And I wasn't trying to save myself. You can say that, but I bet these two regret following you without questioning it. Or maybe you've been threatening them all along with your dad being in the gang. Isn't that why they couldn't stand up to you? Am I wrong? The two classmates silently nodded, tears streaming down their faces. Are you acting tough because your brother is here? Fine, whatever. Yes, it was us. So, what can your brother even do? My dad is in the gang. You know. He's way beyond anything you ordinary people can handle. Should I call him here? Ah, there it is. You've finally shown your true colors. Couldn't hold it in any longer, could you? Go ahead and call him if you can. Let's see what he can do. You think you have a future after this? You'll regret this, I promise. You brought this on yourself. Ah, fine, just untie me already. Oh, I'll regret something, alright. But I'm not untying you yet. We're not done here. What? Are you trying to turn these two against me? Using kind words to win them over? Fine, take them. They're useless anyway. How cruel can you be? Calling them useless? Are they really your friends? What's so cruel about that? Don't pin everything on me. They did this of their own will. They wanted to, so they did. And now what? Blame everything on me? Make me the scapegoat? You're all hypocrites. You hated her too, didn't you? The two classmates shook their heads slightly, avoiding eye contact with Michelle. You've spent years pretending to be friends, but you've never truly understood each other. They must have been forcing themselves to stay close to you. Say whatever you want. So what? Honestly, why was I even scared? If I call my dad, none of this will matter. Now untie me so I can call him. To me, it was obvious Michelle was trying to act composed, but she was far from it. Is this high-ranking gang father of hers this guy? As my brother smirked, one of his subordinates brought a man in from the back. The man was badly beaten, his arms tied, and his mouth bleeding so badly he couldn't speak. Who is that? Let me make one thing clear, my dad isn't the kind of man who would let himself get beaten up like that. I don't know who you dragged in here, but do you really think I'd be fooled by this? I'm not the kind of girl to get scared over something like this. I've got nerves of steel, you know? If this was your attempt to intimidate me, too bad. That guy's already done for. Why don't you put him out of his misery? The man tried desperately to signal something to Michelle, shaking his head vigorously, but no words came out. What's with this guy? He's kind of creepy. Is he trying to ask me for help or something? You seriously can't even recognize your own dad? Look at this. Does this bracelet look familiar to you? That's my dad's. Wait, is it really him? No, that can't be. My dad is strong. And how would thugs like you even get to him and do something like this? My dad is an important man, far above your level. He doesn't even exist in the same world as people like you. The man nodded repeatedly, confirming my brother's words. Are you serious? This is awful. Why would you do this? My dad has nothing to do with this. You probably ganged up on him and tied him up, didn't you? Such a cowardly way to do things. If you're going to fight, do it one-on-one. Fine, I'll call the police and put an end to all of you. Hearing his daughter's words, her father shook his head vigorously in protest. Your dad doesn't want the police involved, and in a one-on-one fight, this is the result. He's so weak that just one of my men, without a scratch, found him boring to deal with. I don't know why you thought he was strong, but he's not, and no cop is going to take a gang case seriously. In fact, calling them would probably get your dad arrested, especially since he has no status. Maybe he told you he was a boss or a high-ranking member. But in reality, he's just a low-level grunt with no power, no strength, and a history of using his gang title to bully others. Yet cowering when faced with real gang because he knows how weak he truly is, which means he's not the kind of gang you imagined, but just a powerless, ordinary old man. There's no way. My dad couldn't have been beaten like this by just one person. And a low-level grunt? That's a lie. I don't believe it. Say whatever you want. I can't forgive you for insulting my dad. Dad, tell them. This is just a fluke, right? Her father kept his head down, unable to respond. Let him go. He needs treatment. My dad has nothing to do with this. Why would you do something like this to him? Beating him up so badly. Is this what you call a victory? This doesn't count as winning. Someone has to take responsibility, and it starts with the parent. Because of what you've done, your family has to deal with this fallout. Do you understand now? Gang or not, there's always someone stronger. Didn't you say your dad wouldn't stay quiet? Well, he's been taken down. What are you going to do now? You claimed he had influence. And this is where it got him. For the record, I'm not interested in winning or losing. Don't lump me in with you. I just wanted to make you understand. You insulted my family, and I can't let that slide. Just like you can't forgive me for what happened to your dad, I can't forgive you for what you did to my family. Did you think I'd stay silent forever? I have my limits too, and when you cross the line, I won't hold back. I really hate you. I'll never forgive you for this. Once this is over, don't think I'll let it slide, remember that. Don't lump me in with you. I'm different. You talk big about not holding back, but you haven't done anything. You're all talk and no action. You can't do anything by yourself. At that moment, Yvonne slapped Michelle hard across the face. Her bold action took me by surprise. Ow. What do you think you're doing? When I need to, I take action. Don't underestimate me. Wow, you're the only one who could push her this far. It's rare to see her like this. Do you think life will go back to normal after this? Let me tell you something. Your dad being gang member doesn't mean anything. By the way, I'm a gang boss myself, and your dad is one of my subordinates. Do you understand what that means? I can destroy your dad's gang or kick him out of it entirely. Without that, your family is finished. And you won't have anything to brag about as the daughter of a gang member. With that, my brother pressed a knife to Michelle's neck. What are you doing? I'm still a high schooler. You can't treat a kid like this. Stop it, please. Say something. Are you just going to let this happen to me? Only now do you call yourself a kid? How convenient. Do you really think that excuse will work in this situation? I don't care what happens to you. I'm not a good person, and I've endured enough already. If sending you to hell will bring me peace of mind, then so be it. What would the others think if they heard about this? You're known as a good person, beautiful, kind, genuine, and honest. That's why everyone likes you. But if they found out you turned a blind eye to your friends, they'd be shocked. I'm sorry, I won't harass you anymore. Besides, we're graduating, so we won't see each other again, right? Michelle sobbed, desperately trying to gain forgiveness. Crying won't help. We're not kind enough to let you off that easily. That's cruel. I've already apologized. You humiliated Yvonne and insulted my family. Do you even understand the consequences? Your father has been expelled from the gang, so he's done for. He'll never step foot in the gang world again. Now, you'll have to figure out how to survive as a family. And since you ruined Yvonne's graduation trip, you'll compensate us. I'm charging your family $10,000. Consider it a discounted price since you're classmates. Expelled? Why would you go that far? It was just a little teasing. What's going to happen to my family now? And charging money on top of that? Please, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Now do you understand? This is what happens when you mock others. Let me make one thing clear, we didn't choose to be orphans. Even so, I've worked hard enough to provide Yvonne with a home far better than anything your father could ever give you. Don't underestimate us. Got it? My brother said, gripping Michelle's hair tightly, the knife still pressed against her neck. I'm sorry. Please, just spare my life. Come on now, the boss is busy. Should we take you all to the canyon and throw you in? The bus driver said this with a carefree laugh. Please, not that. Spare me. I'm begging you. I'm so sorry. In the end, Michelle was left sobbing uncontrollably, her face twisted in despair. After that, the three were taken away, but Michelle's two classmates were safely returned home. This was because Yvonne said she wanted to forgive them. As for Michelle's father, he was expelled from the gang as declared. Michelle's mother, who had been living an extravagant lifestyle with reckless spending, could no longer maintain such a life. Their house was seized, and the family was forced to leave the town. The entire family reportedly relocated to a rural countryside area. Both her father and mother struggled with unfamiliar jobs, enduring daily scolding but managing to work somehow. As for Michelle, she was unable to continue her education and tried to find a job, only to face constant rejection. She eventually settled for working part-time to get by. Meanwhile, Yvonne decided to pursue higher education and was successfully admitted to a prestigious university. Big brother, thank you so much for everything this time. I'm so grateful that I can go to college. You saved up and worked hard on your own. You don't need to thank me. Hey, Yvonne. Isn't your trip today? Hurry up, or you'll be late. Okay. I'm off, big brother. Finally, the long-awaited graduation trip. Using the $10,000 obtained from Michelle, Yvonne was able to go on a trip with her close friends. Of course, the two classmates who had bullied Yvonne also joined the trip, as she decided to let bygones be bygones and move past the incident. Those two eventually became her close friends and supportive companions, remaining in her life even as they grew into adulthood.